9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Transmitting from his secret lair hidden outside Area 51, we bring you Moonlight Stories with Omar Kadir.
Warning. What you are about to hear are the views of Travis Pope and the Oklahoma Tomcat and is not supported by the government. Agreeing with the hosts of this show could cause you to be targeted by the government and government agencies. You have been warned.
And this is not Moonlight Stories, this is Political TNT.
What in the world is that?
This is what happens when one of our hosts ends up doing everything for the producer, and fails to tell the producer that we have a start for another show on our show in our studio.
Oh my goodness.
Today is going to be one of them days.
That sound clip you guys heard, actually what our producer was doing, she did that on purpose. She wanted to let the cat out of the bag that Liberty National Network is going to be having another show.
Oh my goodness.
Before the host of the other show announces when he's going to start his show. So thanks, Miss Producer, for exposing that top secret information.
Oh, you're welcome.
Now I'm going to have to send him a message saying, hey, you got to get your show started now because our producer exposed you.
Yes, she's working with the NSA and exposed him.
Yep, now the government's aware that his show's going to be on the Liberty National Network. Thanks a lot.
Good morning to the wonderful state, greatest state of Texas.
You contradicted yourself there. Try it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, we are actually living in the United States of Texas, don't you?
No. The United States is not all Texas.
Yes, it's Texas and it's 49 other punks.
See, you just showed how Texas is a lot like New Yorkers. Because the New Yorkers have this false sense of grandeur also, thinking that they are the United States. In fact, you ask a New Yorker, where they live, they'll say New York, and then you say, okay, what country is that in? New York. And Texans do the same thing, don't they?
We have look at all the states that we're in. Okay, me and you travel through all the states, and look at the vehicles in every state. Okay.
Yeah.
You have, but when you get to Texas, you have the Lone Star Edition, the King Ranch Edition, the Texas Edition. Everything everything's about Texas. Now you go to New York and you got the ugly ass New Yorker. That's all you got. It is ugly.
That's not true. Us New Yorkers have a lot. We have a lot of
socialism,
nice sceneries.
Laws.
We have the Statue of Liberty, which is also a wonderful place to visit. We have loads of waterfalls, trails,
Statue of Liberty,
drunks.
Ain't that a
strip
catch-22
clubs.
right there? Strip clubs. Ms. Producer, what do you know about strip clubs?
I know that. I know that there's a lot around, and I also know that there's a lot of food in New York. I mean,
how do you know that there's a lot around? Because I didn't notice all the churches until I started going to church. I mean, how do you notice?
What?
Keep saying that you notice things when you start doing it. like for instance, me and Oklahoma Tomcat didn't notice the trucks we were notice these type of trucks that we're in until we started driving them. Now we see them everywhere.
Right. Right.
Same thing. You go to a car lot. Hey man, I'm gonna buy this nice New Yorker, and then you start driving around. You see everybody has a New Yorker. So how do you know there's a lot of strip clubs up there in New York, Miss Producer?
Because they advertise. It's all about advertisement. Yep.
Good save.
They don't even.
No, not true. I've been in a few. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them.
Now we're getting an insight into our most libertarian producer here, y'all.
So,
no.
when you go to these strip clubs, Miss Producer, are you a visitor watching or are you a participant?
Neither, guys, neither. I used to have friends,
In my entire 44 years of on this earth, I've been to one strip club. Didn't like it, never been back.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, if I ain't going to be able to participate in what I'm seeing up there, then why even bother going?
Right.
Okay, now
I don't know.
Now how did you want to participate there, Travis? Did you want to participate with the strippers, or did you want to be the stripper?
Yeah,
it didn't matter. Either one would have been fine. That's why I don't look at, and that's why I don't look at porn either, because why even look at it? I can't participate in it. Why
That's
even
kind of
bother with it?
That's kind of like going to a steakhouse and ordering the steak just to watch it, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
But you don't get to actually enjoy it.
Yep. I can't enjoy it. I can't touch it. Why am I going to pay for something?
Yeah. I understand that.
Oh, that's... Well, whatever. I don't know about all that.
Miss Producer's speechless.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I totally understand. Yeah. Why would you pay for the steak and not be able to enjoy it?
Yep.
So, anyway, How's everyone doing? I know I'm doing pretty good. It's cold out again in New York.
I'm down here in this what feels like hell, Texas. And man, I got attacked by a bunch of bugs too. The windshield was just covered so badly I could not see.
Thank you, Trump, for stepping in on that.
Oh. Well, I do have an announcement to make.
Uh-oh.
That's kind of added to our show. Travis and I have criticized the NRA because the NRA they do not represent the Second Amendment. They actually they even go as far as suggesting laws that are against the Second Amendment. Costado shared a post by the Libertarian Republic on organizations that are better than the NRA. And this caught my attention because I didn't realize there was other organizations that actually represent the Second Amendment. NRA is the most popular. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact they do a lot of advertising and promoting and stuff like that. But here are five organizations that are better than the NRA. The Second Amendment Foundation. Let's see, how do you get to the other ones? Where are the other ones? Hold on. There's only one on here. I've never been on this website, so. No, there's one.
Well, while you're looking. While you're looking for this big long list of different organizations, the NRA, they support gun legislation, so that way they can turn around and advertise, help us fight this legislation. And then everybody goes, oh no, they're trying to take our guns away. So they go and give more money to the NRA to help fight against the legislation that they supported, so that way they get more money. They're nothing more than just like a union does. A union, we need to raise union dues so we can fight this legislation that they pushed for in the first place. I mean, look at the unions. They pushed for Obamacare, and then after Obamacare was passed, they come back and said, oh, well, we don't want Obamacare for us. We just want it for everybody else. So we need to get money to fight them for it.
Yep. I did figure out how to get to the other ones. You got to click on numbers. The second one is Jews for Preservation of Firearm Ownership. I guess that one there's mostly for Jews. Number 3, Gun Owners of America. And number 4 is National Association for Gun Rights. I've heard of that one. Number 5, drum roll, is Constitutional Rights. There are the 5 organizations that's better than the NRA, and you can see that list, and it describes who they are on the Libertarian Republic.
Oh, great. So don't fight more against the NRA. We talk about the NRA and stuff like that. I canceled my membership with the NRA. I had my son a lifetime membership and stuff like that since he was just a little bitty old thing, and I canceled all my memberships with them because You remember whenever Texas was having that the open carry law that was going in effect that we was pushing for a few years ago? Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, it was the NRA that come in and fought against that open carry law, and you know why they fought against it?
Why?
Because it would open the door it would close down all the schools, the concealed carry schools, because it was saying, well, you didn't even have to have a license to open carry. So you could just, you no longer had to go to a school to get a license. And so it would put all the school, their fear was, it's don't put all the schools. But the law was that you still had to have a license to conceal carry, okay? But you didn't have to have a license to open carry. So the NRA come in and fought against that rule, and made it where you had to have a license you had to have a concealed carry license to open carry. Go figure. Why do I need a concealed carry to carry open carry? But that was what the NRA's doing. They almost killed the bill. But now you still have to go to school just to open carry.
Mm-hmm.
All because the NRA come in, push their their big money in to save the gun schools, the concealed carry schools, and that was their whole situation. And when they did that, I pulled memberships.
Mhm. Yeah, I've never been an NRA member. My dad, I think he still is, but I've seen that the NRA does condone making laws that restrict people's rights to carry. The Second Amendment. So
yeah, they supported the bump stock ban from Trump.
Yep.
Why? Look, the Second Amendment is there for us to protect ourselves against the government, okay? And other things, such as home invasions, burglaries, hijackings. The Second Amendment is for us to be able to conceal carry, open carry, whatever carry. If I want to drive a freaking tank down the road, I should be able to do it because it's there for me to protect myself against a tyrannical government.
Mm-hmm.
And so they outlaw automatic weapons. Okay, so what happens? Okay, well, since y'all outlawed automatic weapons, we don't come up with this bump stock, which, makes a semi-automatic fire faster than it would without it. Which, really, you can ban a bump stock, but you don't ban my trigger finger. Because if you know anything about me, I can pull that trigger probably a lot faster than a freaking bump stock, and I'm gonna be accurate.
Well, see, here's the thing on that is that the people who are supporting the banning of the bump stock, the Republicans, surprisingly, knows that that's a worthless ban anyway. I mean, how many mass shootings have occurred using a bump stock? Only one that I know of.
Yeah, that was in Vegas.
Yep. And but you can even you don't even have to buy a bump stock to be able to do the rapid shooting. There's lots of other ways you can do it too. In fact, I saw a video where a person was able to do that rapid shooting with a handgun. So there's tricks to doing it without the bump stock. But the Republicans still supported this ban because they like the false security, knowing it's false security, to grow the government. I mean, they in that one debate I had with them, which I talked about in a previous show, they openly admitted it. That's false security.
Yeah, and it has. Look, when Obama talked about writing an executive order to ban bump stocks, it was like, over my cold dead hands, But then when Trump did it, okay, it's fine.
Yep. And this is the type of thing that the NRA supports. I mean, so those of you that are members of the NRA, take a look at these other organizations. You might realize that there are organizations out there that are for actual freedoms, to be able to bear arms. Because remember, the whole idea of bearing arms wasn't to hunt. I mean, the Founding Fathers was not thinking about, your right to hunt. They weren't thinking about, protecting yourself against your neighbor. They were actually thinking about your right to protect yourself against the government. So whatever the government has, you're supposed to be able to have. And I've had people come to me saying, "Oh, so you support people having fighter jets and stuff like that?" I'm like, if you can afford it, go ahead. You probably put it better use than the government does.
I mean, what part of that do they not understand? Okay, let me read this. The Second Amendment says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Okay, let me do this. A well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed.
Yeah. Now, one argument debate I got into, and this kind of shows where the government-run public schools have failed, is the part of a well-regulated militia. What a lot of people think of as a militia today is not what the Founding Fathers thought of as a militia back then. Okay? Because what a lot of people think of as a militia today is a government-run militia. That is not what the Founding Fathers saw as a militia back then. The militia was the people.
And technically, if you want to go back into there, you can actually go look at the militia acts that the Founding Fathers did produce, which required every able-bodied male to own a firearm. They were to, by law, own a firearm. That was their regulated militia. When you turned the age to go to war, you had to own a firearm. That was their regulation.
Yep, and I'm looking through the quotes of the Founding Fathers on militia right now. There's a lot of them. You can look them up. I mean, the Founding Fathers have written a lot about the militia back then. And for them, what the militia was just was basically people getting together, armed individuals getting together to form their own army, not a government-run army. So that's basically. In fact, what was that one group down there, Travis? That's at the border where they were getting fed up with the immigrants coming across, illegal immigrants coming across, and they formed their own group to stop them down there at the southern border. Shoot, what were they called? Man, I can't even think who they are now. You don't hear about them today. They formed back when. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I heard about them. There's a militia now that's they're calling them vigilantes down in New Mexico because they're detaining illegal border jumpers by force and calling customs, and they're coming down there and arresting them. And now the media has got onto it, and the governor of New Mexico has spoke out, said that we will not have these vigilante groups running around breaking the law. They must die.
Yep, we had them here in the United States several years back. I think they were called the Minutemen or something like that. And now, as Travis just mentioned, there's a group down there in Mexico who are doing the same thing. This here is what the founding fathers called the militia. And on to our sponsor. Let's see. livepure.com/PTAT. That's a website that you should go to if you're looking for supplements to help better your health. They have various supplements that you can go through, from diets to protein to getting the supplements you need. They got the powdered vegetables. They add to drinks and stuff like that, called greens. They also have lots of water. Earth water is one of them. Earth water is very, very unique. It is black, but it tastes just like water. The reason it's black is because it's got a lot of the minerals and stuff that are naturally in the earth and the water and stuff like that. So go to livepure.com/PTAT and check out all their supplements, including earth water and greens. Two of the products they sell that I really, really highly endorse. Check them out today. We'll be back after these messages.
The Liberty National Network.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. But every driver seeks the pinnacle of their achievements. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Corinne, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is President of Hillsdale College, Dr. Larry Arnn, on the threat of bureaucratic despotism.
One of the chief sponsors of the Dodd-Frank Finance Reform Bill called that legislation, quote, about as important as it gets, because it deals with every single aspect of our lives, end quote. And how does this legislation deal with every aspect of our lives? In the most unconstitutional way. It sets up a board called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which has the power to regulate our economic transactions independently of both the President and Congress. In other words, permanent government employees are placed in charge of us beyond the control of those we elect, the control of we the people. This is a violation of the representative form of government without which there can be no constitutional government.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To receive a free pocket Constitution and Declaration, go to constitutionminute.com.
Travis Pope may sound like a big bad gorilla, but he is really a big cuddly teddy bear. You are listening to Political TNT on the Liberty National Network. If you want to be part of the show, dial 914-338-1906 and then press 1.
Welcome back to the show.
Yeah. Good morning.
Well, our big question for the show today is, why should the president have to show his tax returns? And the reason why I'm bringing this question up today is because 20 states are making it to where the presidential candidate and the vice president will have to show their tax return to be put on the state's ballot. 20 states out of 48, so that would make it to where if the president doesn't do it, he's not getting elected, huh?
What does it matter?
That's exactly my question. What does it matter? I mean, what? I would love to hear some people tell me why they want the president to show his tax returns or her tax returns. What are they looking at? And New Yorkers, I want you to answer that question, because guess which one of the states is New York?
That is crazy. We have Cuomo, and they're questioning the president? Really?
Any president running is the least of their worries, huh?
Yeah, right?
I don't understand this, because I guess what it's showing is that they don't trust the IRS anyways.
That's yeah. I mean, because it's one of the things they're questioning is, did he pay his taxes?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that, because if that's the case, then I'd say, well, apparently, well, if that's the case, then that goes to show that even they admit that their gods have failed. Because, the IRS is the law enforcement for paying taxes, right? And who does the IRS work for? The president. So, if Trump was not paying his taxes, let's say, while Obama was in office, how'd he get away with it? Apparently Obama didn't do his job, huh?
Well, it's not just that, but let me say this. The day Trump announced his candidacy, the very first time, okay? Because, this wasn't the first time that he ran. He floated the idea of running. I should say that. This ain't the first time he floated the idea of running. But when he said he was going to run against President Obama during his midterms and decided not to, I'm going to tell you, right then and there did the IRS pull up everything that he has ever made and was going through his tax returns.
And if they didn't, then they didn't do their job because, isn't one of the things that should be done, and I agree with it, for you to be a president of the United States or run for any office, you have to be law-abiding, right? It would only make sense that these people running for office would be vetted. So, but it goes back to say, if they didn't do that, Obama failed, right? Admit it, Democrats. Obama failed.
But that's the thing. You know they did it.
Yeah, I know they did. You know they did. But obviously the Democrats don't think that he did. They did.
He's under audit right now. That's why he said he can't release him right now, because he's under audit. Look, Rachel Matt, they leaked. Someone hacked it and leaked out his tax returns back whenever he first became president. Rachel Maddow had it on her show, and she's like, "There's nothing here." His tax returns was already leaked out.
Mm-hmm. Like, just face it, people. He's not going anywhere. Sometimes you get kind of like, why are they bothering so hard?
And over the stupid things. It goes back to something I've said before. They're bringing up the stupidest things.
And I think I think he'll fight this in court and he'll win. I think he'll win because he's already a president. Why should he have to? Why are they changing the rules now?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, is this the first time they've changed rules in midway? For the next election. I think they can do that. But otherwise, they never can change the rules.
Yeah, but they're doing it to target one person. That's the deal.
Well, that's what this article here is kind of pointing to. That they're targeting one thing. But one of the things is they're going to apply it to everyone equally. So.
Yeah, which they are doing that.
Trump is the one that's fighting this.
Yeah, they're targeting him though. But the thing is that last I read the United States Constitution, tax returns were not a requirement to run for office.
Yeah, right, exactly. See, that is where this can be fought. And plus, it could be also fought in the fact that tax returns are supposed to be personal and private.
Yeah.
If you're displaying it for all the world to see, that kind of goes against your rights. I'd say.
Yeah. I think so too.
There's a lot of personal information in that tax return. I think the tax code, the whole tax code, including giving out your personal information, is against the Constitution, even for the government to be seeing.
Yeah, and you know what though? People allow it. I tell you what, next time you have to fill out your tax return, just put, when you have to fill out all that information, just put none of your business. 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 Here's how much money I made. Here's how much I owe you. That's all the business you need to know.
That's like the census. You know, in our last show, we had a caller call in about census. That there, I think, is wrong. All those questions they ask, and my wife, oh man, when those people show up, I have to go out there because my wife will get in an argument with them. Because they ask such personal questions, you're like, why do you need to know that? There are 5 people in the house. That's all you need to know. Go. But what are some other things that they may want to? Why else? Since no one's even commenting on my post, I think they know it's a setup. Because every time I bring stuff like this up, it always ends up in a huge argument with with hundreds and hundreds of comments. But why else would somebody want the president to play their taxes? I know one thing people brought up is they'll brag about their candidate donating so much money because that's one of the things that's shown on the tax return. But there's a problem with that. When you donate money to an organization and you put it on your taxes, what are you doing? Do you know, Edith, why would somebody put the amount of money they donate on taxes, on their tax form?
I don't know. I never understood any of that.
It's because they're writing off their donations.
Yep.
Oh.
So if you're writing off your donations, are you donating them money, or are the taxpayers donating them money? In an indirect way, of course, the money, that money is actually taken out. But, when you write something off, what's basically happening is you don't pay taxes on that amount of your income. So you're getting a tax break.
Well, yeah, but the taxpayers ain't paying for it. You're just not paying into it.
But hold on now. I've gotten in the same argument with people who, certain companies, getting tax breaks for doing what the government wants them to do. We saw Obama do this, and we see Trump doing this. If the government can give certain people tax breaks, that means you're paying too much in taxes. Why not give that tax break to everyone equally?
If I donate money, okay, I'm taking my money and I'm donating it, okay, and then I claim it on my taxes, so I don't have to pay for that income, okay. That's not taxpayers. That's not taxpayers paying for my donation. That's me not having to pay taxes on it. If taxpayers were paying on my donation, then that means, okay, so he used his money to pay on this charity. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise your taxes to make up for what he just gave to somebody else. No, he's just not paying taxes on that income that he just donated. That's all that means.
But that means everybody's paying too much. It's like a store that has a sale. Okay? The reason that store can give a sale on certain items is because it overcharges on other items. The store ain't losing money. The government ain't losing money by you donating money. It's because the reason tax breaks are able to be given to certain people that do what the government wants them to do is because they're overcharging everyone else. If the government has so much money,
I think that's just stretching it too far right there. Because you went from giving money to charities and using it as a tax break to a whole other thing. No, if I give money to a charity and I claim it on my taxes, nobody else is paying for it but me. That means the government
has so much money. If the government has so much money that it can say, hey, listen, because you did what we want you to do, you don't have to pay taxes on this, so much taxes on this, then that means the government is collecting too much money. The government should not be giving tax breaks to anyone because the government should not have that much money coming in.
Well, then make that argument. Don't be using someone's
that's
charity as a... No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're sitting there trying to say, well, we're paying for his charity. No, we're not. We're not paying for his charity.
You missed the first part of my conversation. We'll just let it pass. It's understandable, Travis. But that is why people are putting it on their taxes. It's to get that tax break. That is not charity. That is not donation. What that is you are getting a tax break, which, yes, you are saving money by donating money. So that you didn't donate that money. You didn't. You're getting it back at the end of the year. Oh, so a tax break is getting extra money?
No.
So a tax break isn't saving money?
If I take $10,000.
Hold on.
If no. If I take $10,000.
That means you're not saving money? Yes.
No. If I take $10,000 of my money, okay?
Yes.
And I turn around and I donate it to, I hate to say their name, but they're the only ones I can come up in my mind right now, Red Cross, okay? I take $10,000 of my money, give it to the Red Cross, and then I file that on my taxes. That's just saying, hey, here's $10,000 of my hard-earned cash that you cannot tax. I'm not getting anything back for it. That's just saying, hey, I don't want to be taxed for this because I don't have it no more. I gave it to somebody. I gave it to a nonprofit.
So you don't think companies and these rich people are donating money to save on their taxes? You think they're actually being generous and loving and caring?
So does Red Cross pay
from
for
one
the
extreme
money
to the
that was donated?
What? Huh?
So does that mean that does that mean that the Red Cross is the one that has to pay for the tax on that money that they got?
Non-profit organizations are already tax exempt. What it means is that the person who donated the money is getting a tax break for their donation. They're doing what the government wants them to do, so they're getting a tax break.
The people of Red Cross, the Red Cross organization itself is not paying taxes on the money that's donated to them, but their employees are paying a tax. So the money, which I would never donate to Red Cross anyways, because they're thieves. I mean, people donated millions and millions of dollars for Haiti to them, and they go down there and build lean-tos for them, so they can keep the rest of the money themselves. They donated donated money to build homes for the Haiti during the earthquake or the hurricane?
Earthquake. The hurricane.
They donated. They donated millions of dollars. I mean, millions. And the Red Cross was out there. Yeah, for this amount of money, we can build these houses, and they had these nice houses and everything. After all the donations were done and all that, people went down there and was looking at these houses, and they were basically lean-tos, shacks, sheds, 2 sticks with a board propping it up. So they spent the money elsewhere. But when that broke out, that story got closed up real quick and covered up. You probably won't ever find that story again. But because that's how Red Cross operates. I've been in a hurricane situation where the Red Cross show up, we don't want Red Cross helping nobody. But anyways, I wouldn't. But the money that they get from donations, I think, what is it, Oklahoma Tomcat? They keep like what? They keep about what, 80% for themselves, and 20% goes to actual helping people.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And but the money that they get, they don't have to pay taxes on. But this is the thing, though. They're not paying taxes on it because it was donated to them.
Yep.
But their employees, who work there, that actually full-time employees that work there, when they get a paycheck, it's taken out of their paychecks. Taxes are taken out of their paychecks.
Yep.
Oh,
but the
wow.
organization is, and I agree that nonprofit organizations shouldn't pay taxes because all the money is supposed to be used to help people. But we know there are bad organizations out there that they keep a lot of the money, and then they end up only using a small percentage to help people. The Clinton Foundation was one of the famous ones that was exposed for doing that.
And that's where we can get into a good discussion about, is that a lot of these rich people, even Trump, they, and I'm not going to mention other places, places that we work at, create their own foundations. They create their own charities to donate money to, but that money never leaves their property. It's just a tax write-off. Well, now, we can do that. We can say it's something like that, which I think that's wrong. Why are you creating a foundation? Oh, yeah, it sounds nice. It sounds good. But really, you're just keeping your money and just writing it off.
Yep. In fact, Bill Gates does that. But when I see people who look at a person's tax returns, and it shows that they donated X amount number of dollars. I remember Obama and when Obama was running against that Republican, I forget his name now. But that was brought up that Obama donated more money than the guy he was running against. And one person who was an Obama supporter, brought that up on a post. I said, actually, both of them look bad to me. Because if you are really, really giving to charity, and I mean, the way I look at it, you shouldn't be writing it off. You shouldn't. I mean, that's not charity. Plus, you shouldn't be using it to show how good you look. It should be private, only kept between you and God.
Yeah, I used to give to my church all the time when I was going to church, and I never, they handed out their at the end of the year. They always handed out this is how much you gave to us. This is your, I just threw it away.
Yep, that's what I do. Both when the money I give to my church and the money I give to any other organization. I do not put it on my taxes because to me it's wrong to do so.
Well, whether it's wrong or right, I don't ever donate enough anyways that it matters anyway. So
we're poor, so I mean, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing right there. That tax write-off is picking and choosing who gets the special privilege and who doesn't. Because you have to donate a certain amount before you can even really benefit from it. And that's why I'm against all write-offs. I mean, I don't care what type of write-off it is. To me, it just proves that the government is taxing us too much because a government that's only collecting the amount that absolutely needs to run would not be able to give special privileges to certain people to write certain things off. I was against it when Obama did it, with the solar energy industry and stuff. If you bought solar panels, you got to write it off. You know, I was against it then. I was against. Against it,
now that right there we can discuss. That I agree with right there, because the simple fact is these companies out there, they're not non-profit companies. Okay, these solar panel companies are not non-profit. They're in it for profit. Okay, now what they're doing is they're using a tax incentive by the government to get people to buy solar panels. What they're doing is, okay, the solar panel company, okay, let's say, okay, Oklahoma Tomcat, I'm coming to your house. Okay, you wanted to check out my solar panels. I'll pull up my tablet, and I'm sitting here looking at, okay, to do your whole house, these solar panels and the labor and all this other stuff is going to cost you $50,000. It might be I might be on the little cheap side there, but let's just say $50,000, okay? And you're like, you're choking because that's a lot of money. But let me tell you, we got this. The federal tax incentive to do this is, you can do it for $20,000 because the tax incentive. What you do is you put these on your taxes that you did this, and now you only don't pay $20,000. You're like, oh, okay. And then at the end of the year, or by the end of the month, I send a bill to the IRS, to the government. Okay, I put this amount in. I put a $50,000 system on, and this guy only paid $20,000. Y'all owe me $30,000. So they're still, the company's still getting their $50,000. Okay, but the person's only get $20,000, as I happen to pay $20,000. So the taxpayers on this are footing the bill for the other $30,000.
Yep, on that there. But also, here's the other thing. You also get to write it off on your taxes at the end of the year, so they don't have taxes on that $20,000. Same thing if you buy energy efficient appliances and stuff like that. You get to write the stuff off at the end of the year also, so the person is not paying taxes on the cost of that equipment. Another way that you can that companies can write off money is with their company expenses, including advertising. That's right. You can write off your advertisement cost at the end of the year if you have a business. If you have a small business, we ask that you go to www.ptat.show advertise and see all the benefits of advertising with us. You get to be on our show for 30 minutes to talk about your show live, and also we will advertise your product, services, company. Even if you have a blog they want to advertise or anything like that, we will talk about what you have to offer, just like this here, where I or Travis or even Miss Producer, if she ever gets brave enough to do it, will talk about your business. And we will personally endorse your business or your product, your services, whatever you have to offer. So go to www.ptat.show/advertise.
Except if you're solar panel. If you're solar panel, we don't want you.
Well, Travis and I'll have to talk about that, because even though I'm against what the government's doing with pushing this stuff, my wife and I, we do use a little bit of solar.
So the Oklahoma Tomcat wants to use government money to pay for our business. Thanks, Oklahoma.
Well, hey, it's there. You can write it off at the end of the year if you want. Now, if you're doing it right, no, don't do it. Doesn't advertise with us. We'll be back after these messages.
The Liberty National Network.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Joy, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is President of Hillsdale College, Dr. Larry Arnn, on why the Constitution limits government.
James Madison writes in Federalist 51 that men are not angels. Their passions and self-interest often get the better of their reason and sense of justice. So we need government in order to protect our rights against those who would take them away. But for the same reason, Madison writes, government must be limited, because people in government have passions and interests too. Many Americans today forget this, supposing that we can do away with constitutional limits on government, supposing that the unelected bureaucrats being put in charge of our health care, for example, will rule as if they are angels. If Madison was correct about human nature, this is foolish and dangerous.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To receive a free pocket Constitution and Declaration, go to constitutionminute.com.
This producer is also an emotional support human for a very emotional dog. You are listening to Political TNT on the Liberty National Network. To be part of our show, dial 914-338-1906 and then press 1.
Welcome back to the show, and yes, Miss Producer cares about her dogs.
Oh.
I didn't get to hear your reaction to that on the last show because I was on and off of the show.
She was like, "What?"
By the way, as everybody probably knows in the last show, we're kind of going through our announcers. That announcer is only temporary. We're going to have a new live announcer.
Why is he temporary, huh? You got a problem with minorities?
Minorities? What makes you think he's in a minority? He could be just a deep voiced man. No, that announcer does not want to keep on doing the announcements, so he's only temporary. We are going to actually have an announcer, hopefully next week, if she finishes her job and makes the recordings. But it'll be a surprise.
Oh, we're having a woman do it?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yep, she's doing all the recording. She's got yours done, Miss Producer. She's got mine done. And she's working on Travis's.
It's going to be interesting.
Yep, and all of us know who she is, but probably going to be hard to identify her once unrecorded, because I've heard the recordings, and she doesn't sound like her normal voice. She sounds, I hate to say this, she kind of sounds like a boy.
Oh.
She's probably going to get mad at me for saying that, too. I probably should have waited until she finished Travis's before I said that. Miss Producer, delete that section.
No. We gotta play that back to her.
But that'll be a surprise for next week. Our next section, I want to talk about something that Oklahoma governor, a law he signed. I support what he's doing. I'm kind of split on what he's doing. It's what it will do. This law will make it illegal for county, city, and town to put a tax on plastic bags or prevent them from banning the plastic bags. Now, I support this because I've been to many areas. All of California does it. Certain towns in Texas do it. And
New York
various
does it.
other locations. New York does it too. I kind of figured New York would.
Where you gotta pay for bags.
Yep. Where if you go to the grocery store, you purchase stuff, they put a tax on the plastic bags they use. The whole idea is supposed to make it to where people bring their own bags in, which I hate this. I hate the law. So I like it that he's doing this because it turns out Norman was getting ready to do it. Norman, Oklahoma. They were going to get ready to put a tax on plastic bags in grocery stores. But the governor stepped in and and legislation stepped in and they with the governor and they stopped it.
Yeah, we all know it ain't that.
Yeah, go ahead, Travis.
Well, like me and you discussed this. It has nothing to do with the environment. It has to do with the tax revenue. The mayor of Norman, Oklahoma, seen how much money that New York and California and all these other states that are making money on taxing paper bags. Plastic bags. Oh, look at the tax revenue. Oh, we need to start taxing plastic bags for the environment in Norman, Oklahoma, because we got to save the environment. It destroys machinery and stuff, and then they never use that money for what it's supposed to be for.
Right.
But their mansion got bigger.
And their bridges got bigger.
Yeah, they put it there. Now they'll put a mosquito on every bridge.
No different than the lottery.
Yep. Yeah, and isn't it funny that states where gambling is illegal, they have the state lotteries. It's like saying, oh, gambling is evil. You can't have gambling. But if it's through us, we'll forgive you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only is it not only like scratch offs you can write off on your taxes.
Huh?
And I was told by a friend of mine who plays the lotto all the time, and that's one thing that they do is use that as an excuse to write off on their taxes. Yes. So not only can you gamble, but you can also write it off on their taxes.
Shoot,
According to HR.
I'm fixing to start playing the lotto.
Huh? What?
Just trying to say he's going to start.
I'm fixing to increase my output for lotto numbers.
Yeah, H&R Block. Hey, that's who they go through. Yep.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, you'd have to. You'll have to, because that's what I was told.
That's what I'm looking up right now.
Oh,
yes.
Here it is. Here it is. Yes. Scratch off tickets can count as gambling losses.
Yeah.
All right. What site are you seeing that on?
TurboTax.
Okay. Yep. That there is a credible one. Oh wow. So even gambling losses can be written off. I mean, all gambling losses. Oh, now let me ask you guys something. I know in Oklahoma I've seen it, in many other states I've seen it, where they post a phone number for gambling addicts. So they know that gambling is addictive and that people lose lots of money on it. But yet the government is promoting it.
Wait a minute. Losses and tax deductions. You can write off gambling losses as a miscellaneous itemized deduction, while miscellaneous deductions subject to a 2% of adjusted gross income floor are not allowed 2018 through 2025 through. The deductions for gambling losses isn't subject to that floor. So that's not just scratch-offs. That's for any gambling. You know, if I go to casino, you know, I keep track of all the money I lost.
That's exactly what I was stating. You know, they know that gambling is addictive and is a problem, which it is. Gambling is a huge problem, and can affect even your whole family. The government knows this because I see that 1-800 number all over the place. Every place that has the lotto and every place that has
it's
gambling.
on the scratch-offs. Yeah.
Yeah. But yet they're promoting it by allowing you to write it off. That's crazy. That is really, really, really crazy. And again, a write-off. I've talked about write-offs before. Granted, the money ain't coming directly from taxpayers, you know, paying it, but apparently the government is making too much money to where they can write off certain habits and things as, you know.
But if you do win $1,000 or something like that, you have to report that as your income.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yes.
You have to
Yes.
Well, if you're buying all these tickets, you have to actually put how much you won and how much you've lost.
Yep.
To itemize it out. Wow.
But we all know that people lose more money than win. You know, because that's how these casinos and stuff makes money. So that's a lot of people that's able to write that off. And apparently the government makes enough money to where it can accept that loss of taxation.
Yeah, and this is a fact here. You know what time of month the casinos are the most busiest?
The first.
Do you know why?
Because a lot of people are getting their unemployment checks.
And Social Security checks. Them old people, them retirement checks.
All the government, all the government money, including welfare checks and in many states, including child support checks.
Yep.
And that's why gambling is a huge problem, the government shouldn't be endorsing. I don't think the government should make laws against it or regulate it, but they shouldn't be endorsing it because it is a huge problem. I mean, it does destroy families. I mean, you think about it. A child support check. Those people out there using child support check to gamble. That money isn't going to the kids. Welfare checks. I mean, that money's supposed to go to take care of you and your family, not go out and gamble. Now, retirement checks, I'm like, well, if it only affects the individual, I say that you shouldn't be doing it, but it's only affecting you, so go at it. Now, if it's you and your spouse, then I say, no, don't do it. It's wrong. Unless your spouse is also gambling, then, hey, you both like them. Maybe that their retirement plan is to go to and live in a casino and gamble their money. Play at different slot machines, so that you two don't have to talk to each other for over 30 years, 40 years. Now you don't want to. You go to the casino and gamble. Back on this plastic bag deal. The reason why I kind of split on it, because while I do like the law because I hate paying sin tax, and even though I would never have to worry about it in my town, I do travel a lot. And I hate it every time I go into these places where, these cities or these states where they have this plastic bag sin tax. On the other side of it is, that Norman is making, and that is the governor overreaching, doing the same thing that we are criticizing the federal government for doing. Now, there is a difference in the fact that the Constitution applies to the federal government, and the federal government is not allowed to do anything that the Constitution doesn't give it power to do. Amendment 10. All right? The governor here may very well be within his rights to do this. I have not looked into the Oklahoma Constitution to see if it limits the state government on doing stuff like this or not. But is it right for the state government to make laws that prevent state governments from having a tax? That's the question that comes to my mind, And what do you think about it, Travis?
What?
Do you think that the state government should be able to forbid local governments from taxing something?
I don't know what the Oklahoma Constitution is. I try to stay out of
You're right. But let's take that aside. Even if it allows the state government to do it, because you and I have both said on various times that even though the Constitution allows the government to do it, doesn't mean that's right for the government to do it. So now we're talking more on the fact that, all right, let's say your state, my state, New York State, does allow the state government to forbid a local government from having a tax in their local jurisdiction. Is it right for the state to do that?
I don't see a problem with it. If the state, because well, I don't know. Like for instance, Texas is working on doing away with, and a lot of counties are fighting about this, but the people have spoken. They put it on the ballot initiative a few years ago to do away that we must do away with property taxes. Okay, so now that the Texas government has to figure out a new way to raise the revenue for the loss of those taxes, without implementing a state income tax. So that was that passed, overwhelmingly passed ballot. So now the Texas state government has to come up with a way, which I don't see why they just don't increase the sales tax, to abolish property taxes. And when they do that, it will be statewide. That means no more city, local municipalities can tax people's property. Period.
So that means the counties would even have to figure out a new way to get revenue.
Well,
because I know, like in Oklahoma, counties also, like for instance, my property tax is linked with county expenses too. So every county has different property tax.
Yeah. And that's something that has to be done on the state level, which the people have spoken. They voted that in. So now the state government has to come up with which I don't see why they just don't raise the sales tax. Look, I'm fine with a little bit more sales tax as long as y'all get it off my property.
Mhm.
I don't want to pay taxes at all, but I'm okay with it as long as you're off my property. You can't take my property. I looked up online one day of all the property that is up for auction in our town, and you know what all of them had an auction for?
Because people weren't paying their property tax or got behind on their property tax.
Yeah, but you know who was the one that took over the property?
Who? The state. Well, it would be either the state or the county or whoever the tax was owed to.
It was the school district. The school district has seized all this land. The school district.
The school district shouldn't be doing that.
That's what your property taxes are supposed to be paying for, is the school district. So they are the ones that take it. So when they auction it off, the money goes back to the school district.
See, with ours, it's the county that ends up taking it over because it goes more than just schools. Especially for areas like where I live. In our town, we don't have any stores. We don't have any. We don't have anything except a tiny school and a volunteer fire department and a couple of churches. But so our county makes money off of the property tax for the roads and stuff like that in the county. But schools shouldn't be taking over that, and not unless all your property tax goes to the school and just to the school. Anyway, you and I have talked about this before, and yes, I agree with you. To me, property tax is wrong because I know one of the reasons I moved to Oklahoma, and I know I could move to other areas where it may have been no property tax, but that's kind of hard, and other taxes end up being higher. Oklahoma has extremely low property tax, extremely low. And that was one of the things that appealed to me, because I wouldn't be surprised, Travis, if you looked further into that and found out elderly were probably very high on that list. Because that's one of the things I think of, if anything, or disabled, if somebody became disabled. If anything happened where I can't drive trucks anymore, how would I be able to stay in my home if the taxes are too high, if property tax is too high? Right now, I could just, I could panhandle and get my property tax together for my 20 acres. I mean, to me, that's wrong. Property tax is very, very wrong. In Oklahoma, it goes beyond the state with the property tax. I think the county is the one that actually, I know mine comes from Buckfusky County is where my taxes come from and where I pay it to. I'm sure the state gets probably a little bit of that. But I would love to see property tax go away if the county can find another way of making money. As far as the state banning all taxes, any town and city being able to tax you, they say that is within what they should be able to do.
I don't know, man. We're not looking at.
I'm asking in general because, to tell you the truth, I'm split. Because on one hand, you and I both agree. Even though the government has to tax to raise money to run, they tax too much, and today's taxes are theft. So, I have to play on this because, I like what Stitt is doing. And legally, I'm assuming he is able to do that because I don't think the state constitution forbids the state government from doing very much. But as far as what powers the state government should have, it's a question I have.
Yeah, well, it all depends on. I guess, like we've talked about, it all depends on individual states. Because, like Texas, Houston was supposed to be Houston and San Antonio and El Paso were like sanctuary cities, and they were trying to claim sanctuary cities, and then the state of Texas government comes in and says, no, we don't have any sanctuary cities in Texas, and that just threw them all in a uproar.
Yeah, now that there, I do agree the state has the right to do, because that there is where you're getting into legal arguments with, whether you're for or against the immigration laws. That there is where the state does have to look out for what kind of troubles it's going to have within its borders. If the state wants to battle with the federal government or not. So that there I agree with, because it goes into the legalities of, what kind of fight you want to have within your state borders. But when it comes to a state or county raising money and how it's going to raise money, that there is kind of up to the. Now, the reason, real quick before we go into the commercial break here, the reason Stitt is doing this is actually a good reason, too. It's because he says the state has to look out for the commerce inside the state to make it friendly for companies to be coming in and not create a burden on the consumers, which The bag tax is a burden on the consumer. Think about it. You're taxing that bag. That leaves less money in people's pockets to buy goods. So, State has a good argument, you know, and I have to say that, all right, I'm for it. If you are a truck driver and looking for a company that's small enough to actually look out for you, to where the owner actually makes contact with you, and you can contact the owner of the company and tell them what kind of problems you might be having or anything like that. Even when you're broke down or anything like that and you're having trouble getting a hold of maintenance, you can contact the owner. But is able to give you the benefits of a big company. I ask you to look into BT Express Global Services. BT Express Global Services is a small company, roughly 20 to 30 trucks, but they are contracted onto a big company, which that big company gives BT Express Global Services employees all the benefits of their own employees. It's a really unique thing that I've never seen before, but it works good. And it gives BT Express the benefits of small company and big company. If this sounds good to you, then www.ptat.show, that's Papa Tango Alpha Tango.show /BTE, which stands for BT Express. That's www.ptat.show /BTE. We'll be back after these messages.
The Liberty National Network.
Where do you want to go to lunch?
I'm having a stroke.
Did you hear what I said?
I'm having a stroke.
Why aren't you answering me?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F. Face drooping. A. Arm weakness. S. Speech difficulty. T. Time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The oldest existing human that we know of is the 5,300-year-old body of a man, frozen in ice, that was uncovered by climbers in the Italian Alps in 1991. His name is Ötzi, the Iceman, and aside from being extremely well preserved, he was remarkable for another reason: the 61 tattoos that adorned his body. For as long as we've been on the planet, humankind has marked their bodies to commemorate important events, imply meaning, or signify value. Everything from a sailor's inscription of a lost lover's name to the tribal markings of indigenous peoples denoting a ceremony or achievement reminds us that using permanent markings can be one of the clearest ways to show what's meaningful to us. As it turns out, we aren't the only ones who do this. God does too. Listen to this powerful verse in Isaiah. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. That verse is part of a passage where God reminds his people that he has not forgotten them, even during an extended period of captivity. And while the most important part may seem to be the fact that God has engraved or tattooed the name of his people on his body, it's worth considering where that engraving occurs: his hands. A lot has changed in the lives of human beings over the years, but we still use our hands for nearly every daily task imaginable. We look at them hundreds, maybe even thousands of times each day. The implication here is powerful, that our names are never out of God's sight. I want us to think about that. If your own life's commitments were to be written on your hands, what would they be? Work, school, your career? Or would they be the names of people in your life, family members, friends, and those inside or outside of your church community? It's often easy to lose sight of what matters amidst the hustle and bustle of our lives, but I think this verse and the principle it embodies ought to be a powerful reminder to all of us of two things: to put first things first in our lives and remind us of our Heavenly Father's love for us. I want you to picture His hands right now, the same hands that knit the galaxies together, and then picture your own name tattooed in His skin. Powerful, isn't it? Our God has marked us into His heart as permanently as ink sets into our skin. We are always in His mind, always in His eyes, and always in His heart. I'm Joseph Tkach, speaking of life.
Hi, I'm Joy, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is President of Hillsdale College, Dr. Larry Arnn, on why the Constitution limits government.
James Madison writes in Federalist 51 that men are not angels. Their passions and self-interest often get the better of their reason and sense of justice. So we need government in order to protect our rights against those who would take them away. But for the same reason, Madison writes, government must be limited, because people in government have passions and interests too. Many Americans today forget this, supposing that we can do away with constitutional limits on government, supposing that the unelected bureaucrats being put in charge of our health care, for example, will rule as if they are angels. If Madison was correct about human nature, this is foolish and dangerous.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To receive a free pocket Constitution and Declaration, go to constitutionminute.com.
The Oklahoma Tomcat thinks he is a big tough cat, but he is actually as harmless as a kitten. You are listening to Political TNT on the Liberty National Network. If you want to be part of the show, dial 914-338-1906 and then press 1.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
That's a little late, but.
Oklahoma Tomcat, did your Qualcomm just shut off and start back up?
No, it didn't. Yours did, huh?
Yeah, mine just did. That means an update just come through and it's probably going to screw up our whole life, like the other update did.
Yep. Maybe it's correct, that issue that you and I've discovered in the last update, which means now it'll put you on the drive line immediately.
Yeah, it just started over and then it come back, no tire pressure data. Well, that's because I don't have tire pressure sensors on my truck.
Nope.
I don't need a computer to tell me your tire is low.
I hate that.
It's that
on my car.
Yeah. Go ahead, Miss Producer.
I just wanted to make a comment saying that I hate that on the car. Because it drives me nuts. Any lights on mine drives me nuts. Check engine light, everything.
Well,
it's
ours.
Sad they have on tractor trailers.
Yeah, ours isn't really for, basically, like yours is hey, you need to do your errors. Ours is to snitch on us and tell safety, hey, their tires are low. You need to ride them up.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's sad that they have to do that to truck drivers. I mean, come on, how hard is it to check your tires? I mean, it doesn't make your BI any longer.
Well, truck drivers would rather just hit that, pre-trip in the morning, go in, get their coffee, wash their face, brush their teeth, wash their butts, and then come out and hit and then just start driving. They
and
thought
then break down the road.
Well, here's what it is. They think pre-trip means that they need to get ready for the road instead of getting the truck ready.
I get it. Yeah, I can see that. Because it's called pre-trip, which means you need to make sure you got your coffee, that you brush your teeth, that you wash your butt and hand dried it, and dried your butt off in the hand dryer, and wash your face, and also blow your nose and sink.
Yep, that's what pre-trip. Get out and stretch, relax, stretch your bones, your muscles. Get out there and do your stretching exercises.
Then a lot of them are failing on that one because I don't see them do stretching exercises either. A lot of them need a lot of stretching too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted about that blowing your nose in the sink on MeWe. That is so gross. That is so gross. I am brushing my teeth in the sink, and the guy next to me is doing that horrible sound, holding one nostril and blowing it into the sink. Like,
oh yeah. You know what you posted. Here's what you do to stop that. Okay. Here's what.
Okay, cool. Yeah, go ahead.
When they start doing that, they start blowing their nose like that, and the sink go.
Yeah. All I can think is go in the stall, grab a tissue paper like everyone else.
and
like a normal person.
And whenever they go, "Are you okay?" When they look at when you start doing that, I mean, just start act like you're gagging. I mean, you're about to vomit. When they go, "Are you okay?" Turn to them and say no, and then just come up with some type of disease. What's that main disease that they had that we were scared of under Obama? That because he wouldn't shut the borders down, that was coming over.
We did a show on that. What was it called? Shoot. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Darn it, I cannot find it. Ebola.
Yeah, Ebola.
Yeah.
Or Ebola.
Thank you, MSNBC, for putting that in your search things.
Yep. Ebola. Just so whenever he looks at you, go, "Are you all right?" Just tell him your Ebola is flaring up. Then you watch him get out and leave.
Watch him run out of the restroom.
So my Ebola is flaring up. My Ebola is flaring up, and you'll watch him run. Tell him it's highly contagious.
So in our trucking section, we have a border news.
Uh-oh.
Yep. A truck driver was stopped at the border crossing from Mexico into the U.S. And he was, and the truck was impounded, and $2.1 million in marijuana was seized. Driver was arrested and is in federal custody pending further investigation. The driver was a Mexican native. I know Democrats going to be screaming, saying we shouldn't say that. He was stopped at the Arizona border, and detective dogs alerted officers to the hidden marijuana, which was hidden in large coils on his flatbed truck. Those coils that you and I've hauled plenty of times there, Travis.
Yeah.
They were being brought in from Mexico into the United States, and there was marijuana hidden in them. He didn't do a very good job at hiding his narcotics.
I don't know why people are even trying to sneak marijuana back over to the border. I mean, one, the Mexican marijuana is bunk. It's trash, and you can just go to Colorado. It's so much better.
Yeah, I know.
Well, wait a minute. You can go to Colorado. You can go to California. You can go to
Tennessee.
Tennessee has it now.
Yeah.
You can go to Oregon, Washington, Nevada.
Yeah, and for
Michigan.
those that can't travel, those that can't travel, for you drug dealers inside the United States. And now I don't endorse, smuggling drugs or even the use of recreational use of drugs. But if you're going to do this, you're in a state. No, because I'm against the federal government from outlawing it. Also, I'm just against personal use. Personally using it. I don't want laws against it. Remember, status is for making laws based on personal beliefs. A libertarian has his personal beliefs against the federal government from making the moral law. The difference there, Travis. I know I got to educate you on this stuff. But if you live in this, yeah, go ahead.
I will have to say that Colorado is about to probably change mine and your focus on that, because remember when I was getting my tire done on my truck?
Yep.
Those tires done, and I was in Oklahoma, and I stopped in there, and this dude, I had to repeat to him about the same thing about 5 times on what to do, and he still got it wrong. And Oklahoma Tomcat was on the phone with me when I said this, and I looked at him and I said, dude, you really need to lay off the weed. And he goes, and he looked at me serious, and he goes, well, to be honest, I used to do the stuff. I've been off of it for a while, and now I just can't focus anymore on it without it, and I'm like this because of weed. So you see, weed actually makes you more stupid.
It's so shocking that he came up with that. They said that, which just added to the whole stupidity thought. Because me, if somebody would have said that, I would just, even if I did the weed and all that stuff, my reply would be like, God, I don't do weed. Come on, I would have argued on you on it, but he justified it. And then me with the Colorado, that Denver traffic, it's so bad. In fact, I made a video on TikTok, and I keep on saying every time I go through Denver, oh man, Denver is going to make it to where I'm going to actually say, yes, government needs to outlaw weed.
Breaking news. Trucking news. Well, I don't know. Yeah, what is today's date? Oh yeah, this is happening right now. You know the trucking company, Falcon Transport.
What transport?
Falcon Transport.
Oh yeah, yep.
Falcon Transport drivers told to cease driving immediately after abrupt closure, April 28, 2019. Truck drivers for a flatbed truckload carrier, Falcon Transport of Youngstown, Ohio, said they received emails late April 27th, that's last night, yesterday, stating the company was shuttering operations effective immediately. The carrier has 723 trucks and nearly 585 drivers, according to the Federal Motor Safety Systems. Jason Calhoun, Director of Operations of Falcon, confirmed the abrupt closure of FreightWave to FreightWaves early April 28th, but provided no further details. One Falcon transport driver said he and other drivers received a message from Calhoun around 8 p.m. on April 27th, instructing them to stop any work for the company immediately, but he hasn't been able to confirm any additional information about the closure. The driver told FreightWaves late April 27th that he is headed to his delivery destination to the GM plant in Arlington, Texas. He said his fuel card is still working and received his paycheck on April 25th. Another driver confirmed that he received the same message but did not get paid this week because of a computer glitch. He also received an email from his dispatcher telling him that Falcon is done. This message was posted on Facebook and YouTube late Saturday night. All Falcon employees, we regret to inform you that Falcon Transport Company is not able to continue operations and will be shutting down effective today. Please stop work you are doing for the company immediately. You are not expected to return to work. Please be on the lookout for further information we will be sending regarding the situation. Falcon was purchased in leveraged buyout by Counterpoint Capital Partners, a California-based private equity group, according to PitchBrook. Falcon was bought in a leveraged buyout for $27 million in October 2017, with an additional $33 million in debt finance for a total of $60 million. Falcon Transport was now closed.
I'm actually shocked they had that many trucks because even though I've seen them here and there, I didn't think they even had that many trucks because you don't see them all over the place. But now that breaking news is going to cause me to switch gears here on topics because something I've told Travis many times. One of the things that always caused me to hesitate with driving for a small company is this right here, with the fact that the company, the stability of the company is not, they could close at any time. And then it's like, what do you do? Now, Falcon, I give them a little bit of credit. I don't like the idea they just, up and closed with not even a whole day notice. At least he kept the fuel cards on and he's paying drivers, so hopefully he also, Falcon also, hopefully
he
gets all
learned
their
his
drivers
lesson.
home. He didn't want to end up in jail. He didn't want to end up in jail.
Yeah, the last flatbed company, what's going on with these flatbed companies? You remember the other one, Arrow?
Yeah, that was also Arrow was also flatbed. And that's odd because flatbeds in general do better than dry vans.
Yeah, but me and we were seeing the difference that because remember when me and you first started flatbed, we were doing really good, and then all of a sudden, what happened last year? Right at the end of the year, we never recovered from the downturn from the holidays in 2018.
Yep.
And that's why we're now we're rocking and rolling.
Yep. Yep. Which that's now see the way our company did it. It was very good. It was very, very good. And with Falcon and that other flatbed company. It's like, hold on, your company is doing bad. Things are going south for you before you hit that rock bottom. Why not either find a way to turn it around, like our company did, or give your drivers a heads up. You know, hey, we're going to be, you know, this here's your 1 month notice. We're going to be closing.
To go a little bit further, General Motors played the major part in Falcon closing. Falcon Transport had a significant exposure in the automotive sector, with General Motors being a primary account. Last December, General Motors announced that it would cease production of its Lordstown, Ohio plant, a major client for Falcon Transport, according to the news report. At the time, the plant stopped production of the Chevy Cruze in late March. So this is General Motors doing. Well, it's
all right, there you go. Government Motors.
Yeah, and this is one of the things. You know, I used to work for a really small company, okay? We only had, when I first started work for them, we had one truck, and I took that company. I worked my butt off, and I took that company from one truck to 20 trucks, okay? And I kept telling my boss, I kept telling the owner, and he was a good friend of mine, real good friend. I kept telling him, I said, look, we need to branch out. I said, you have everything in this one company. These are your only clients. I said, if we don't switch and start getting more clients and branching out, you're going to lose everything. And he wouldn't listen to me. And what happened? The oil field crashed. And when the oil field crashed, he lost everything.
Well, if you missed any part of the show or you just now discovering us, you can check out our website, www.ptat.show. That's Papa Tango Alpha Tango.show. You can go there. You can see go to the blog section and see our whole list of place where our show is posted on the blogs. Oh man, why is my phone charming 1,000 a minute? Hey, Miss Producer, stop it. Political TNT is a Edith Jones production and a proud member of the Liberty National Network. Y'all have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.